Welcome back to the channel Seymour Rosie. In this video we will discover more places around Digby, Nova Scotia and take you along with us. We'll take you first inside a house that was first built in 1710 and then also visit Maude Lewis's house. She was a folk artist and, from Nova Scotia. So we'll roll the intro. Welcome to the Seymour Rosie channel. Hi, my name is Dave and this is my wife Vickie, and we started our RV adventures in 2020 and in 2023 we went to Alaska. So join us as we travel around North America. Appreciate if you subscribe and like. Thank you. While in Digby we took a side trip to Annapolis Royal, a very old town there in Nova Scotia. When we got to Annapolis Royal, we started walking around and we came across the Sinclair house. So we decided to go in and just see what it was all about, and we got a very nice tour.
But it started out as two separate houses that were built right around 1710. The section that we're in, this front part, very narrow, tall, two-story house, was built here in 1710. The back section was built somewhere around 1710, but it was a separate one-story house that used to sit over on the next lot close by. But in 1781, a man named Frederick Sinclair bought both houses, dragged that house over with oxen, rolled it on logs, pushed it up against the back of the two-story house, and then built up a second story, put a new roof over it, and in 1783 opened Mrs. Sinclair's Inn in this lovely big neoclassical building.
That's neat.
This house was already an inn before Sinclair came, but it wasn't big enough for Sinclair. That's why he expanded it. It started being used as a tavern and inn in 1747 and then remained as an inn and hotel for the next 200 years, right up to 1947. But after the 40s, it wasn't being used very much anymore. And by the late 70s, it was in pretty bad shape. It was really a bit of an eyesore. 1980, there was a big revitalization project going on here to spruce up the storefronts along the business district here and to save this and two other old buildings that were pretty decrepit. So the Heritage Society ended up with this building, and the first project was to restore the exterior to look like the 1780s building. So that's what you're seeing on the outside. Inside though, instead of restoring it, they decided to deconstruct it. So they opened everything up and peeled away layers. So we're showing you things that were done in 1710 and then all the changes that happened to the interior right up to the 1970s or so. So that's what this museum is about. It's about the evolution of a 314-year-old building. So that's about it for me, unless you have any questions.
No.
All right.
I love it.
So you go through that way. The glass panels are safe to walk on.
Okay.
I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you'll sign our guest book before you leave.
We'll come back out this way.
You'll come right around the circle
Okay.
here, yeah.
All right.
As you walk through the house, they have reconstructed and made it safe to walk through with the paneling you see underfoot, but they also left some glass panels so you can look through and see what the original construction looked like. All in all, it was a very informative, very nice tour that we took of that museum. While we were in town, we walked the streets and did a little bit of shopping. We stopped at this gift store here on the left, and then we went to Fort Anne, which was a National Historical Site, one of the oldest ones in the province, or in the country of Canada. This fort was first established in 1604, and it was in French hands and then Scottish hands and British hands and back and forth several times. A hotly contested piece of real estate here because of its location on the Bay of Fundy. But what you're going to see here shortly is the officers' quarters, and we took a tour of it, and it was pretty informative of Fort Anne.
Two rivers meet.
Another little side trip, but very scenic, was to the little town of Brier River. I don't have a whole lot of video or pictures of this, but you can see the tide is out, and we did stop at a couple shops there in Brier River. Scenic little town. Just a couple miles outside of Digby is Maude Lewis's. It's a replica, a recreation of a house she and her husband lived in. And Maude was born disfigured with her chin on her chest, it is said. And she quit school at 14 years old, but she became internationally known because of her painting, her folk art. We also decided to travel down to Brier Island and check that out. And there's two ferry rides. First you have to go on Long Island on one ferry, and then travel down to the end of Long Island where we caught our whale watching boat, and take another ferry over to Brier Island. And when we got there, we didn't know where to go, so we just started driving. We took this dirt road that led up to a point at the point of the waterway that's on our right here, and we took a look around. We drove back through town and headed, I believe it was east, but we found this little dirt road that led out to a peninsula and a point. So we took it. Actually, here I guess it's paved. But we're traveling alongside the waterway between the islands, and we got to the end and we noticed these birds swarming. I think the tide was like a boar tide, and I think it was stirring up the bait fish, and they were feasting. Oh, there's a boar tide you can surf.
school come through here.
There.
I see him. I see. Or is it an otter? The seal.
I don't know.
It's a seal. Can you get him?
Well, I got him, but with this camera, I'm not very good. After that, we returned to the ferry and took it across to Long Island. And partway up Long Island is a trail that leads you out to Balancing Rock, which is a 2.5 kilometer trail with 265 steps, I think they said. Trail is amazing, and somebody laid all these boards for the boardwalk over this marshy, swampy area. Like I said, it is amazing. Vickie did not go accompany me on this 2.5 kilometer trip, and there's quite a few steps, as it was said earlier, 235 down a real steep embankment. It's good there's a handrail because it was very much needed, but the scenery when you get to the bottom is absolutely amazing. My God and his magnificent creation. Well, I walked back to the truck. We took the ferry across to Digby Neck from Long Island, and we were hungry, and we stopped at this little restaurant and had their seafood chowder, and it was amazing. You ever get in that area in Nova Scotia, you want to stop and partake of yourself. Hey, I appreciate you watching, and appreciate a thumbs up, and hit the subscribe button. Catch you on the next video.